Welcome to The Insider, a podcast by Heritage Museums and Gardens, where every other week we chat with guests and museum staff about all the exciting things that are happening in season here at the museum. My name is Judith Getz, and I'm happy to be your host today. In this episode, we'll chat with Heather Mead, the Director of Visitor Engagement here at Heritage Museums and Gardens, about all things Hidden Hollow. So yay, we're sitting here in Hidden Hollow right now, and there are several children engaged in various activities. So Heather, let's start with the obvious question. What is Hidden Hollow?
Hidden Hollow, besides being one of my very favorite places here at Heritage, is about a 2-acre outdoor discovery space that was really designed for families with kids between the ages of 2 and 10 to explore being outdoors together. We really reconnect with the joy of being out in nature.
So those that are down here, it's a kettle hole, right?
It is,
Originally.
it is. Yeah, it's a dry kettle hole, a glacially formed depression that we were lucky was dry, so we could build all of our activity spaces in it. But it's about a 25-foot elevation change from the bottom up to the top rim.
And just for location-wise, as far as those that might have been to Heritage or new to Heritage, it is, you have to be over at the SEG to be able to locate Hidden Hollow.
Right, yes. Sort of on your way from the Special Exhibitions Gallery where our wonderful changing exhibits take place. As you're headed up to the Carousel, a popular destination, you'll find Hidden Hollow in between those two gallery spaces.
So I had a little bit of time before you got here today to kind of absorb all the activity that's going on, and I started by kind of noticing the stage area that we have here. What exactly happens here?
The stage area is where lots of incredible dramatic play and performances take place. We have all kinds of amphitheater style seating up a hill, and on the stage itself you'll find a puppet tree with some spaces where kids can engage with puppets. We have all kinds of native woodland creature puppets and costumes of native creatures also. So costumes, puppets, and also some small handheld musical instruments. So everything from dramatic performances to puppet shows to musical theater happen here.
So a little bit of everything.
Yes.
Now, of course, I was just hearing a little bit behind me, and right beyond the stage, there's a little area that is, for those who are a little bit musically inclined, you can hear a little bit of that right now. Mm-hmm. I was incredibly jealous as I was watching the parents enjoying it as much as the kids.
Yes, definitely.
So tell me a little bit about this area.
This area, our perform area, of course being really adjacent to the stage, is a great place for musical exploration. And you can hear behind us some instruments. We have four custom created instruments. 3 are marimba style. So these beautiful wooden resonators, and one of them is actually keyed sort of like a piano. One is a bass marimba. One is an 8-octave marimba. So lots of rich musical notes come from them. And behind where we're standing is a set of chimes as well. So all kinds of percussion instruments that I mentioned on the stage in concert with the marimbas make for beautiful music making.
All right, so we're going to listen to a Heather Mead classic. Wonderful. See, I told you, it's just as enjoyable for the kids
Oh,
as well as the
absolutely.
adults.
This is definitely a place where we have multi-generational family engagement. Parents, grandparents, and kids all playing and performing together. It's a blast.
Now, one of the things that you notice when you're sitting back in the amphitheater seats, as it were, with the stage, you look straight up and there is this gorgeous treehouse. Tell me a little bit about that. I know that the concept and such is fascinating, but go ahead and tell me what's up with the treehouse.
The treehouse is an absolutely beautiful centerpiece to the space. From where you and I are standing here at the base of Hidden Hollow, it is 40 feet to the top of the treehouse, about 15 feet to the bottom deck. And something that makes our treehouse really unique and special is it's fully accessible to visitors who have mobility impairments or use wheelchairs, because from the top rim of the kettle hole that we were talking about, you can actually access the treehouse and come out to the railing and have an incredible bird's eye view of the entire space and see all the activity areas, hear and see all the action down in Hidden Hollow. So it is a beautiful place. There are 2 stories to the treehouse as well, so a bottom viewing area and sort of the top for the tippy-top canopy view of all the beautiful mature trees in the space. It's just a great lookout area, and also there are lots of activities that we have hosted in the treehouse. So always something to do, read, see, and explore.
And for those that are, one of the things that I did was read a little bit about the history of the entire piece. And I was charmed to see that students actually built this.
Yes, one of my favorite stories about working on this project was the treehouse was designed by Pete Nelson, who some folks might know from the Discovery Network's show Treehouse Masters. Pete is the foremost international designer of treehouses. When you see a coffee table book or a calendar of treehouses from around the world, you'll be definitely looking at his work. And we were lucky to connect with Pete, and he did a custom design for Hidden Hollow. He looked at every single tree in the space, definitely chose the 2 trees that our treehouse straddles as the perfect place for this sort of Norwegian stave church designed, beautiful construction. But his workshop is out in Seattle, Washington. And so it was going to be a complicated build, and we have a great relationship with the Upper Cape Regional Technical School, and inquired if he would be willing to have this project be built by students from Upper Cape Tech's carpentry shop. He had never had students or anyone else build one of his designs, but worked with an architect to create renderings that the students could build from. And the kids were incredible. They worked diligently on this project for over the course of 2 years, and they were so proud of the project, and their carpentry shop instructor was just incredible about providing this once-in-a-lifetime learning experience for the students.
Well, that does not feel like enough. Strangely enough, when you're standing here, and this is an area that you kind of want to visit many times, and I notice kids kind of jumping from one activity to the other. We have an area over here that I'm a little bit mystified by, I have to admit. We've got some colored cloth draped over some, sticks that have been placed together. They kind of look like somebody could build some secret shelters. I could be wrong, but
that is absolutely, no, you are completely right. This area that you're looking at right here is our construct area. In the base of Hidden Hollow, the space is sort of delineated and divided into various activity areas for every type of learning and engagement and exploration. And in this area, kids are invited to really build and construct, engineer secret shelters is a perfect way to describe it. We provide lots of really tall rhododendron branches, sections of tree stumps, so some large materials they can manipulate, and the pieces of fabric that you described, these sort of translucent outdoor fabrics, so the kids build secret rooms. And we've definitely got quite a construction going on here. There's some twine involved. It looks like it is sort of maybe 3 separate spaces, and every time you come down here the constructions are ever changing.
Yeah, I've noticed that. Red seems to be predominant, but that could just be a thing for this week, right?
Right.
Now, as we move a little bit down the path, you'll notice that there's kind of a boardwalk action that takes you down towards an area that seems designated for some easels and maybe some artwork.
Yes, that area we call our create area, and it is for exploration in a creative way of various artistic media. We have a changing theme in Hidden Hollow on a monthly basis. We rotate it, so visitors will always find something different when they come and visit. Right now, we are creating pots, recycled newspaper pots, and planting seeds in this space. You mentioned, you can tell artwork happens here. There are some large vertical easels, and our visitors either use chalk to create artwork, or sometimes we have water and paintbrushes out and they'll create water paintings. And on the tables around the space, there could be exploration of materials from clay to watercolor, so always something different.
Now, it just looks like a really neat space. And of course, instead of seating, we've got stumps here,
yes,
as you mentioned, which is just kind of fun.
Yes, even the tables are fun. They're carved in pine cone shapes. They were created for us by an international chainsaw carving champion. So, lots of whimsical touches, even in things like seating and basic furniture.
And it's wonderful to see that it's covered as well, because the sun can beat down every once in a while those
bet.
artists are at work. So.
You bet, yes. This is definitely a nice, cool, shady space, no matter what the weather.
And right next to it, of course, there is a wonderful sand pit for those who are a little more interested in building some castles.
You got it, yes. That's our dig area, and we've got everything. So this month is a gardening theme, so we've got trowels and hoes and rakes out, but there are always buckets and STEM tools to explore, like funnel stands and scales, so definitely a good place to dig in the dirt.
Now, those that are, shall we say, not novices or new to Hidden Hollow might notice the terrific landscape, and we are now approaching an area, you probably hear the water in the background right now, that was redone.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that.
This is the splash area. And so yes, if visitors have been with us before, we always have had a hand-powered water pump, sort of one of the old-fashioned pumps that draw up water from a well, and buckets and watering cans, because we have the best watered plants at Heritage here in Hidden Hollow. But last fall we had some wonderful funding, so we were able to actually enhance and expand the size of Splash. It was always one of the most popular spaces in Hidden Hollow, so we've doubled the size and added an incredible, beautiful waterfall cascading down the side of the hill, and we added a sort of a discovery stream area. One little waterfall pours into a stream area that is right at kids' sort of waist level. They can get their hands in there, they can experiment with the flow of the water, redirect it, build dams, float boats. And then also we added 2 basins that we call our sink and float basins. They're water basins where, again, kids can take a variety of natural materials and conduct experiments using their foundational STEM skills. Are things going to sink or float? So just lots and lots of water exploration fun.
So it's not just a beautiful looking place. It's actually interactive, which is pretty neat.
Yes.
Now, what are some of the questions that you typically get from parents that are calling in to ask a little bit about Hidden Hollow? Perhaps they heard about it from a friend, or perhaps they've read about it, and they'll be able to get a lot of information, hopefully, from this podcast. But at the same time, I'm sure you've heard a lot of questions. What are some of the questions that you hear from parents?
Most of the questions are really just sort of, what is it and what can we do in the space? And once we start describing the areas that you and I have been discussing, parents realize, oh wow, maybe I'd heard that there was a treehouse, or I had just heard that there was a water play area, but you also have, the dramatic play area and an area where there's sand and a fort building and. So I think the number one question is, how long should we plan to spend? Because there's just so much, it sounds like there's so much to do. And we found that, of course, a visit can be as short as 15 minutes or as long as we have frequent visitors who will spend more than 2 hours with us in this space, which is pretty incredible. But the average visit is about 30 to 40 minutes for a family visit. But there are some families who will plan their day like, can we bring a snack or can we bring a lunch and come for the morning and hang out and have lunch? And absolutely, that we have picnicking areas around the top of the kettle hole, but also the amphitheater seats are a perfect place to bring a lunch and really spend some good quality family time.
Now, of course, we talked about the stage and you talked about some of the performances that take place there. How frequent are the performances, and how would someone find out about some of that?
So we have such a variety of performances, scheduled activity, but also on a daily basis, there's sort of the unscheduled, just fun of watching other families up on the stage performing. So there's definitely always something to see and be entertained by. But definitely check the website for things like on Family Fun Fridays. We'll have special guest visitors or performers on the stage as well.
All right, and that website again is heritagemuseums.org. Well, this has been terrific. I can't tell you how much I appreciate this quick little view of exactly what Hidden Hollow is here at Heritage Museums and Gardens. And we've got a full summer of activity planned, so make it more than once maybe, right?
Absolutely.
All right, terrific. Of course, we've been speaking with Heather Mead, the Director of Visitor Engagement here at Heritage Museums and Gardens. You can hear more interviews like this one by finding us on iTunes. And of course, more information, as we mentioned, about Heritage Museums and Gardens, our exhibits and upcoming programming can be found on our website, again, at heritagemuseums.org. Until next time, thank you so much for listening.